Good afternoon. It's Tina Freeman. I'm going to vary a little bit from my normal videos that I do on YouTube. I'm going to be discussing the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services today, specifically CPS. And if I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I retired from county government. I worked 10 years in the district attorney's office, and then I was the district clerk until I retired in 2019. And then my family was impacted by the system with two of my grandchildren. I'm not going to specifically talk about our case today. I hope to do another video that discusses our case. But I want to give advice for those of you good parents that are dealing with the department. And so there's a few things I want to go over. I've made some notes, so I don't want to forget any of my points. But the first thing, if CPS comes knocking on your door, record the conversation. Get your phone out, get your video out, however you want to do it. Record the conversation. They are now required. Now, Texas is a one-party state, so you could already record the conversation if one party knows. But in 2021, in the 87th legislature, House Bill 135 passed. And what that does is they are required, before they interview an alleged perpetrator, they are required to give you notice that you can record, an oral and a written notice. Now, these are probably be the only things that you will sign when they come before they talk to you. I would suggest that you talk to them. You want to show that you're protecting your child, okay? Now, they're also supposed to give you a written notice of your right to request an administrative review. But first of all, if they don't give you the notice to record, you can still record, okay? So let's see. I want to go into, okay. So there's some discrepancy on whether they're required to tell you what the allegations are. Now, some attorneys, there are several attorneys out there, they'll give YouTube videos, they'll have information on their website. And I know I read one day that said they're supposed to tell you the allegations. Now, I've talked to another attorney. She said there's no clear rule. I've never ran across anything in their handbook or statutory-wise that says they're required to give you and tell you what the allegations are. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist somewhere. But, so some attorneys will say different things. So they may not tell you what the allegations are. I would politely ask them what they are. Do not sign anything other than those right to record. Don't sign a safety plan, anything, until you talk to an attorney. Now, there are some good videos out there. Texas Homeschool Coalition, and they have another division called Family Freedom Project. But the Texas Homeschool Coalition does a lot to protect families. And they have a great video that I ran across. It's a short video, and it is called, titled on YouTube, "What Do I Do If CPS Knocks on My Door?" Okay. And there's another good video out there by Bolton Law, and it is entitled "Beware of CPS, Don't Sign Anything Without a Lawyer." Now, I believe the Texas Homeschool Coalition, you can actually call them and get a little bit of advice before you continue dealing your conversations with CPS. But the most important thing is that you show that you are protecting that child. If you find out that there's an allegation against a spouse, whatever it is, your primary goal is to protect that child. And if you're one that's doing something to your child, get some help. Let CPS take your child. Do not harm these innocent ones. If someone you know is doing something, someone in your household, get them out of that situation. You have women's shelters. There's some help out there that you don't put your child in that situation. But from seeing what's going on in this state and in different cases, there are times that they will come and they can remove children. There's nothing you can do about it. And perhaps sometimes they don't really have any reason to do it. And you know the truth, but a lot of hearsay goes on in CPS. Just realize that. Now, back to safety plans. Do not sign a safety plan without talking to attorney or someone else that knows. Call the Texas Homeschool Coalition, Texas Public Policy Foundation. They have people there, attorneys there that you can talk to. If you're indigent and can afford an attorney, if they actually file suit, you'll get an appointed attorney. Now, nobody will really be able to talk to you at that point if you have an attorney. So, but I'll explain later our circumstance with the safety plan and what will happen. It doesn't really matter what the circumstances are. If you're in violation of that safety plan at all, it automatically translates to the child is in danger, whether they really are or not. It's their definition of what danger is. And if you think it's just because there's sexual abuse allegations and injury to a child allegations, which these are the things I'm talking about earlier. If you're doing that, you deserve to be charged. You deserve to be having to deal with the department. But you protect your child as much as you can. Let's see, I went over recording. Let's see if there's anything else I need to cover here. Okay, so one last thing I want to discuss is domestic violence, victims of domestic violence, protective orders. If you are a parent and you suffer domestic violence, okay, under the statute, that is considered abuse if your children are around. And a lot of times it doesn't matter if your kids are around, they're just going to assume they were. It varies in DFPS regions and counties a lot, how they interpret abuse and how far they will go for things. But if you are a victim of domestic violence, go talk to your women's shelter. They will try to force you to get a protective order. Under the statute, they can actually do that. I've heard people say that they were told that they need to get a protective order, and then they go in to try to get one and they're told they can't get one. Or I had a women's shelter director told me when my daughter's case was going on that protective orders were difficult to get these days. And I don't really understand that from my time when I worked in the DA's office and we handled those. So anyway, go to a women's shelter, talk to whoever you can, make some calls. If they're pressuring you to do anything right away and sign anything, pause before you do that and make some calls. Okay. I'm going to continue later, but go look at those videos that I mentioned by the Texas Homeschool Coalition and by Bolton Law. There are several attorneys out there that'll talk to you about your rights. But unfortunately, from what I've seen, I've watched quite a few hearings since my daughter's case completed in early of 2021. I never really thought that there was an issue. They keep passing bills to help this, but it just seems like it doesn't really get that much better from talking to attorneys. I talked the other day with a former CPS worker who now works for a law firm in San Antonio, and they represent parents in CPS cases. And she told me that it was so bad she had walked out when she worked for the department after receiving an award from a previous commissioner. She walked out. That's how bad it was. And she said, it is so bad with falsification. etc., and problems that she wanted to call the governor and let him know that somebody needs to do something about it. And I am a conservative. I believe in protecting your children. I believe that they should behave and be disciplined, but that you should love them, never harm them in any way. But I just wanted to give you advice. If you are dealing with CPS right now and they come knocking on your door, like I said, this is Tina Freeman. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below. Thank you.